Hello, we are Group 2 of the Persuasive Computing course, and today we will do the live demo of our app, which is called TidyHome. TidyHome is an application for supporting women who are survivors or victims of domestic violence. And yeah, it's worth mentioning that it's a persuasive application. So here is the registration page. And here the user needs to enter their name, email, and phone number. After doing that, the user needs to click done. And the next screen, it's going to allow the user to set up a PIN code. And this PIN code will protect the app from any undesired eyes, which could be the abuser. So here the user set up the PIN and then clicks next. And here, this is an important screen because it's explaining the user that if someone forces the user to unlock this app, some undesired person, the user, instead of entering their PIN code, they can enter this alternative PIN code, which consists of only zeros. And this PIN code, it's gonna unlock a home organization application instead of the domestic violence application. So if we click here on test it, we can see the example of how the app would look like instead. So instead of showing the domestic violence content, it's showing information about how to keep your home organized or tidy. With elements such as bedroom, groceries, kitchen, organization, cleaning, garden, ideas. So yeah, we can go back and then we can click on next. And this screen is showing the user, giving a description of what TidyHome is. And as I mentioned before, this is an application that is designed to support victims and survivors of domestic violence. And the next screen is a short questionnaire that will help the app to understand the needs of the user, like if the user is a survivor or if it's a victim of domestic violence. So for the sake of the demo, we're just showing two different questions. But yeah, these introductory questions help the app to understand the user. So when the user is done with the questionnaire, it comes to the home screen of the application. And in this screen, we can see all the features. We have 6 different features plus 2 more, which are here in these 2 options. So I'm gonna go through all of the features. First, I'm gonna click on diary. And diary is a feature that helps the user by giving it the space to log their thoughts, their emotions, their activities. So here, in most of the screens, there is going to be a light bulb on top. And this light bulb is going to help the user to see more detail about that feature. So if they want to understand or have more information about it, they can click on it. And here we have an example, like, why should I do it? Why should I do a diary? And also how to start. So this kind of feature helps to manage anxiety, to reduce stress. And yeah, one way to start is by setting aside some time and then start writing your emotions or anything could be. Then if the user wants to start a new diary or log, they click on this button. And here, this is example of the box where the user can type. And they can type something like, I had a very sad day, because it could be anything. My abuser did something. So then after the user is done typing their diary, and again, they can type anything, The beauty of this feature is that the feature it's gonna extract the content of that diary, and using machine learning, it's gonna do or perform a sentiment analysis, and as a result, it's going to show the dominating emotions from what the person wrote or typed in that diary. So let's say that the most dominant emotion was sadness. Then the user is going to have access to resources on how to handle that emotion. So if the user clicks on sadness, it's going to have this kind of resource that it gives the user simple steps on how to overcome that emotion, on how to handle it. So yeah, this is an example, and we can go back, and then we can go to history and also go back home. The second feature is pensive. And this feature, the idea is that the user responds a questionnaire. And this questionnaire, it's going to help, the responses from that questionnaire are going to help the app to tailor the content of the app to the stage of the journey of that victim or survivor. So it's very important if the user answers the questionnaire, so that the app can provide better resources. And when the user starts, just click here, and it's going to be showing the different questions. To make it more interesting, this process of answering the questions, we have like kind of activity where the app shows a white canvas, and the app, it's going to be adding color to this canvas for each of the questions that the user answers. So if the user keeps going, we can see that more color is added to the canvas. So yes, here we have another question, but again, for the sake of the demo, we just have 2 questions. And here it's the result of how the canvas is going to look like after the user responds all the questions. And here's a description saying that, yes, thanks for answering this questionnaire, and this is going to help the app to provide you with better resources for you. So then if we go back home, I'm going to go to this feature that is called Learn. And this feature is actually linked to the pensive feature, because here the user can access different resources, and these resources are actually focused on the topics that the user is interested in, or the kind of content that they need to overcome this domestic violence situation. So let's say that from the questionnaire, the app detected that the person is lacking self-esteem. So then the user is going to have this kind of resource where they can click and access videos from recognized organizations such as UN Women, and they will also have access to some content to read and also to learn more. Yeah, and this is just an example. So I'm going to go back to home, and the next feature is Daily Companion. And Daily Companion is a feature where the user can get confidential help from a hotline. So if they click here, they will be calling a hotline, and they can speak with a person that it's going to help them with any question they have. And the same applies to the live chat. The live chat is managed by trained advocates of domestic violence. So the user can go to the live chat, and if they click on the light bulb, they can see that the conversation between the advocate and the user are confidential. So anything bad is going to happen, and that the advocates are trained or certificated people from different important organizations. So yeah, we can go back, and yeah, this is how the live chat looks like. So I'm gonna go back, and then I'm gonna go back again home. The next feature is encouragement, and this feature, it shows encouragement phrases or encouragement content for the user. We know that survivors and victims of domestic violence need this kind of support to help them through this very difficult journey. So they can have access to this kind of items, quotes, resources that are going to help them to bear with this situation. I'm going to go back, and then I'm going to go to the next feature, which is Meditar. And Meditar is a feature that it's going to help the user to meditate, and it's going to provide the resources to make this process easier. So again, if we click here on the light bulb, this description is telling us that Meditar uses the power of AR, augmented reality, to immerse the user into a landscape that it's going to help the user to have a better meditation. And also the app includes sounds of nature to make the experience more complete. And in general, this meditation is going to help the user with their well-being. So I'm going to go back, and the user can select between different environments, and let's click on this environment. And here, each of the environments is going to show a description or a list of steps on how to do the meditation. So it's going to guide the user to make this process easily, to have that kind of guidance to make this this meditation easier in the start. So yeah, I'm gonna close this window, and I'm gonna go back home. And then the next feature is third ear, and third ear is a feature that when it's activated, it's gonna allow the phone to listen to the environment. So if the feature detects an aggressive sounding environment, it's going to automatically start an emergency call to the local authorities for sending help to the user. Alternatively, the user has the option of recording a personalized code of help. So I'm going to click here, and the idea is that the user can record either a word or a sound that the application is going to recognize, and it's going to know that that sound means that the person needs help. So it's going to do the same. It's going to start an automatic call to the emergency service. Here again, if we click on the light bulb, it's giving some description on how it works. So here the application or this feature recommends that the user uses a not common word or not a common sound as the code of help to avoid a false activation of the feature. And here it gives some examples of the words that they can use, like lighthouse, but it always depends on the common words that the user has in their daily life. But yeah, the suggestion is to use a word that it's not common in their day-to-day. I'm gonna go back to the main to the home screen, and the last feature is panic button. And panic button, it's a very similar feature to third ear. The only difference is that instead of listening to the environment, the user activates the feature back by pressing the button. So again, if the user presses the button, it's gonna make an automatic call to the emergency service, to the local authorities, and they will go and provide help. And I'm gonna go back, and the last thing I want to show is settings. And here in settings, again, we have record code of help. Users can access this functionality from settings. And the last thing I'm going to mention is this feature of change theme color. And we added this based on the comments from the users, that they said that they wanted to have an option to change the color, because what if they don't like the pink color? So it would be nice to have it there. I'm going to go back to the home screen, and yes, this is TidyHome. These are the features that we designed, and thank you so much for listening.